All right, we're live.
Hey everybody, it's Bob Sank with Bob Sank Coaching, and so great to be here. Many of you may know me, many don't know me, but I'm a real estate coach and consultant, and I work with agents. I'm fortunate enough to work with agents all over North America. And today I have a couple of special guests that I'm going to introduce in a minute here. But our moderator today is a good friend of mine and just a marketing genius as far as I'm concerned. His name's Sean Lyman. So thanks for being on today, Sean. Agreeing to moderate
Good to be
this.
here.
But really, I want to get to the story of, it's kind of, I don't know, a blessing, I would say, when you meet somebody and you not only get hired to help them with their business, but you become friends with them. You're enough to joke with them and everything else. And I'm blessed to have two of my top clients on the call today, and that's Pam and John Harrison. So, or John and Pam Harrison. I want to, mess around with that. So, welcome there, John and Pam. Welcome to the call today.
Hi, Bob. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good
So,
morning.
what I'm going to do is the way we're going to kind of run this. You're just going to hear a little bit about their business, where it was prior to working with me, and kind of the changes that they made. Rather than hearing it from me, you're going to hear it straight from them. What changes did they make? What were the results like? What are they working on now? And what does their future look like? So I'm going to turn it over now to Sean, who's going to kind of lead those questions.
All right, John and Pam, thanks for coming on the line today, and we're just going to ask you some simple questions to share with the audience what your experience has been, what some of the results have been. But before we do that, can you just maybe give us a quick 2 to 3 minute overview of how you got into real estate, how long you've been in the business, and just give us a background so we know, kind of have a reference point for you guys?
Ladies first.
I've been in real estate over 20 years. We won't go into the exact month or year. I got into it because I was looking for some type of identity instead of being somebody's wife and mother. I wanted to be me, and I was always interested in real estate, so took the class and got involved and have been with it ever since.
Uh, Mine is a little simpler. I was a police officer and was being retired on a disability from an injury I received, and had always been interested in real estate. So I got my real estate license and started, and that was 28 years ago.
28 years ago?
Yes, 1988.
So have you guys been a team for the last 20 years?
No, we met through real estate 28 years ago. Sorry, I guess I told Emily. We were both married to other people at the time. We were working in the same office, became friends, the four of us and such. And I managed real estate offices starting, I guess, about 2000. No, it was before that, 95. 95, and Pam got into the administrative side and became the office manager at the offices I was managing. Circumstances changed. I got divorced. Her husband passed away, and many years later, we ended up together, and now we're a team. I'm no longer managing.
So you used to manage offices or brokerages?
Yes, I managed a Remax office is where I started. Managed that one for 5 years. Left there, managed another Remax office for about 5 or 6 years, and then had had enough of managing and just became an agent again and went out on my own and worked. I stayed at that Remax office. Convinced her to quit being an administrator, reactivate her license, and come and work with me. We then had a brilliant idea of opening our own Remax office, which we did. Timing was perfect. We bought the franchise in April of '07. We got the office open in November of '07. We'd gone over the cliff. So we fought that for 5 years through that market. Didn't renew the franchise, went back into just being a team.
Okay. So how long have you guys been a team in the sales sense?
2012, I guess, is when we ended the franchise and just went back to selling real estate.
Okay. And then how did you guys come across Bob? Do you remember?
I can tell you, John is what Bob likes to call a squirrel. He squirrels here, he squirrels there, and he looks and looks, and he ran across Bob on the internet, and we got into the Listing Domination Academy, and everything just kind of started from there.
Yeah, that was in if I remember, that was back in the end of like November of 2014, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You signed up for the Listings Domination Academy.
Yeah.
Correct.
So everybody knows that's our online course where you kind of go at your own pace and everything else and get all the training and so forth.
That was our first exposure.
So you found them online, and I guess got on a webinar and kind of liked what you heard, invested in the program. Now, when you first got into Listings Domination Academy, what was your experience there?
Well, it was good. The program was good, but you had videos and you had to kind of discover it on your own, and there wasn't the motivation. You had to be self-motivated, which I have issues with from time to time. But it gave us the basic nuts and bolts, and we started putting together the program. The light bulb really came on when we went to our first event in Pittsburgh in October of last year. And
Well, talk to us a little about the event, because that's where people usually get the most result.
yeah, it was a small group. I don't know, maybe 10 or 12 people there, I guess. And Bob personally going over everything and showing you how it works and giving you a workbook that showed you all the items and how he had done it. You're still drinking with a fire hose, but it's overwhelming, but it gave you a much better understanding of how the program worked.
It got you to focus. That's the most thing I can say that really helped us was we were like on a ship just kind of floating out there, and we had lost our focus. And this brought us back to being grounded and started our focus. Are we totally focused
Yeah.
every day? No, but I don't think anybody is. We're getting better, and we keep working on everything and implementing different things at different stages, because it's a lot and you can't do it all at one time.
Yeah. This is a program he developed over years, and you get it all, and you can go squirrel from here to there within his program if you don't behave yourself. So he kind of, by coaching and calling and going to the various calls every week, it kind of gets you on track and keeps you there.
So when you came to the event and had your first experience in being able to see kind of like the entire system, did you kind of walk away with like, hey, I just want to do these 3 things, or what did you start with after you left the event?
Well, we signed up for the next level, so we were no longer just in the Listing Domination Academy. So we had Bob as a coach, and he had given us 3 things at the seminar to work on specifically. So we went home and got around to working on them.
The big thing was the listing presentation.
Yes.
We had to get that we got that together, and then mastering it. And it's still not mastered. It takes time. It takes a lot of presenting it and
Repetition.
going over it, the repetition. John's gotten very good at it. He can just about do it now without watching the slides as they come up, because he's done it enough. But that was the big one, working on that. And then the other big one was Bob had us go for no.
Yeah.
And that was, we're still working on that one. But like I said, it's a work in progress, and you just keep doing it. And if you stay focused and bring yourself back when you lose focus, or call Bob when you lose focus, it's helping us a lot.
So let's talk about the listing presentation. And I know people, when they have something new to try, they get a little hesitant, or they're really not sure because they haven't done it before. What made you guys say, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to try it out and we're going to implement this in your business? And then what was the experience like? What did the consumers think about it? Just kind of walk us through how implementing something new in your business, how it went.
First time I did it on a FSBO, and I had no idea what I was doing. Presented everything to him, left him everything, probably more stuff than I was supposed to, who knows. I didn't get the listing, but no one else has either. That's been a year and a half ago, I guess, a year. It's still a FSBO, so he was not ready to sell, nor is he ready to sell yet. Subsequent to that, when I had actual listing appointments that we developed, I used the presentation, got better at it, and I haven't missed since. So with the exception of that first inept attempt at not knowing what I was doing, since then I've had a 100% hit ratio.
Well, I'll add to it to say that John didn't have a set listing presentation for a few years. He took things in, went over it like most agents do. You take in your comparable market analysis, you take in papers, and you hand him papers, but he didn't have the slide presentation set up that he was doing an actual presentation showing what we do.
Consistent.
And that's important. The consumer wants to know what we're going to do for them. And with this presentation, the consumer sees what we do every step of the way and how it is going to help them sell their house.
Can I ask a question real quick too? Prior to this presentation, because we're talking a lot about the presentation, people are like, oh my gosh, what a presentation, I have to learn this. But John, when you were there, when you were going on these listing presentations, prior to working with me, were you leaving things behind, very structured things for them to follow?
Not anywhere near what I'm leaving now. I probably had a CMA of some sort that I may have left them, and probably a little information card about me, and of course a business card.
Yeah. So now, what's it make you feel like when you go to a listing presentation, everything else? What explain to people what that feels like, because you've told me over the phone. I've got to talk with you and know you and Pam pretty well. Talk about what that feels like when you go into a presentation that's structured and you leave things behind. Obviously the results have been great for you, and we'll hear more about those in real numbers. But what does it make you feel like, and then what is the response from the clients?
Well, I have a confidence level that, and I was always pretty confident because I've been in the business for a long time, and I enjoy people and I enjoy speaking with people, and have gone through several coaching programs over the last 28 years. But they look at the program as I'm presenting it, and I've had them comment on, why don't more agents do it that way, and why don't they do this? And I've always said, you should do that. So they kind of get on board with it as you're doing it, and you're kind of sitting back going, this is going to be easy. They're going to sign as soon as I finish, or maybe before. So it's kind of, I don't know. It makes it so easy to do. It's kind of a no-brainer.
So when you go on an appointment, and talk about, if you can, prior. Yes, you're very confident. You're obviously a police officer, so thank you for that. And but so you have to have some confidence already. But talk about now what it feels like going on an appointment. Is there any apprehension whatsoever when you're going there?
No, not at all. I'm of the opinion if they don't want to sign by the time I've done my presentation, then they're not ready to sell their house.
Okay, good.
They're not ready to sell their house, then do I really want them as a client?
Did you, either you or Pam, think that was even possible prior to us working together? Did you think that was going to really happen?
Well, no, not really. I mean, probably a pie in the sky, perfect scenario, maybe, yes, but I wasn't expecting the results that I got. I mean, the reason I liked your program was it was structured and it was what to do, step by step, what to do. Here's the presentation, just show them the presentation. And as you say all the time on the calls, although obviously I'm better looking than you, you say don't change the pictures. Use it with your pictures in it. I mean, it's all set up for you to do. It's easy to change. And it's just a simple process to follow as long as you follow the steps.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, so obviously having a good presentation and having confidence, because I believe, whoever has more confidence will always influence the other person. What has it done economically for you? So obviously you can get more, win more listing appointments, which is great. You said 100%. It may not be 100% forever, but obviously a lot higher than before. And I would imagine that you're not going on listing appointments without competitions, because it sounds like the consumers have said, why didn't the other agents come with this kind of presentation or do these kinds of things for sellers. So if you could just share with us, what has it done economically in terms of what you receive in terms of commissions for the listings, and then how has it helped you beat out the competition and walk in with confidence, even though that another guy just walked out?
Well, they see the value, therefore they don't question your commission price. My commission price is now 2% higher than what the average is in my marketplace. And no one has objected. No one has tried to beat me down on commission. I was usually pretty good at that, but I was usually 1% higher and had to explain why, because I wasn't showing them the value. Now with the presentation, they see the value up front, and they don't really balk about that. Now, as far as our numbers, as of, I guess, the end of March, beginning of April, we have done 64% of what we did all of last year. And that's because Bob told us don't do what most agents do, and that's take the holidays off. And so at the end of last year, October, November, right after we got done with the session that we went to in Pittsburgh, we continued to work. So we have done, we're on schedule to do, what, 3-4 times what we did last year?
So you didn't start 2016 on January 1st?
No, actually it was we started it the middle of October.
Yeah, that's when that's when the new year begins in real estate, is October of the previous year. So you mentioned what's your average sale price?
Probably around 300.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll get to Sean. By the way, we're going to fix that with them and get away from probablys, and they'll have accurate numbers. They know I beat them up on that.
But 300. I mean, think about it though. $300,000.
We got an average sale price for listings, and then we got an average sales price for buyers.
Oh, what a comeback!
She works with a lot of first-time home buyers, so she ends up with lower.
So at $300,000, and you said you were getting 1 extra percent and trying to scramble to get paid the extra. Now you're receiving an extra 2%. So on $300,000, 2%'s $6,000, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So you have a 100% win rate on your listing appointments since the October event. You're now able to receive an extra 2% commission on the list side, which is on average an extra $6,000 per client. Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. So right there, you're able to grow your business and generate more income by servicing the same amount or less clients.
Correct. And they sell quicker because you have a higher co-op commission on them as well. So that helps.
That's a good point.
Well, that's one of the things, right? The things that we teach in a listing presentation that you're going to do, the simple things that, by the way, they haven't cost you money, right? They're not expensive. The
Right.
ideas that we give you.
No.
You're getting more exposure for your homes, right? They're selling faster and for more money,
Correct.
right? And they don't cost you. I mean, maybe talk a little bit. Sean, keep on going in that direction, but we do want to circle back around to that. Where what are the costs like? I mean, you guys aren't having to buy leads right now, are you?
No. Not at all.
So let's talk about that for a second. Where's business coming from? And then you talked about Go for No earlier. What have your results been there outside of just getting, kind of getting out of your comfort zone a little bit?
Your turn.
Well, you have to make the phone calls. You have to do the presentation. Neither John nor I do the presentation enough. Bob wants us to go out and do the listing presentation, the buyer presentation 5 times a week to different people. So that, and it doesn't have to be somebody that's going to be selling or buying a house, friends, family. And that's where you try to get the referral leads because they're going to tell other people about it. And it has helped.
Yes, we've gotten a lot of referral leads from our past clients. And of course, marketing, getting buyers off of the signs because of the uniqueness of the signs that Bob has in his program has been tremendous as well. I mean, we have I don't know if you want me to go into detail about which ones, but
Sure, go ahead.
The everyday open house sign gets attention. Depending on the marketplace, I've used the no payments for 6-month rider. I've used the buy this house for me and I'll sell yours for free, and all of which have gotten us leads that we've either turned into that are buyers that Pam is working with, or were future listings that we're going to be getting.
So it sounds like you're using the presentations, you're giving them to your sphere or people that you know, and so they really, really, really see what you guys actually do for clients.
Exactly.
And then from there, once they know, like, oh, these guys do more than I could ever imagine, and do you think it helps your sphere of influence kind of turns them into fans and kind of has them on the lookout for you because they know what you do differently than everybody else, and if they knew somebody buying or selling, they feel like they'd be doing that person a disservice if they didn't refer you because they know that the other agent's not going to do what you guys are doing?
That seems to be the gist of it. I mean, they turn into fans. Well, hopefully they were fans before, but now they're really fans because they know what you do, not just that you're a real estate agent.
Absolutely.
And once they see that, they want to tell everybody about it.
Yeah.
Somebody at work says they're going to buy a house or sell a house, they'll go, you got to talk to this guy. I mean, if you're buying a house, you got to use Pam. If you're selling a house, you got to use John. So that seems to be the way things are working.
And then once you get the clients or get the listing, you're then using that listing as marketing it properly and doing lead gen properly to turn that listing into other business rather than just listing the home and trying to have to go hunt down your next listing.
Correct. The other unique thing we've done is when the buyer buys the home, we've put the sign up after they've settled and they now own the home. We get permission from them to put a sign up in the front yard that says sold with our panel on it. I've had past clients call me and tell me they saw that I sold a house in their neighborhood recently because they drive past the sign that now is up in the yard of the person that I actually sold the house to. So that's another free lead, free marketing. It
So
all
you
works.
don't. So how long have you been doing the buy or sold signs?
January.
It was,
We
yeah,
started that in January.
right. We had right after the snow, after the 3-foot snow, I had to wait for that to get there. So he had just settled right after that happened. That's when we did the first one.
So the buy or sold signs aren't just generating leads, but obviously increasing awareness and social proof through extra signage, right?
Exactly.
Correct.
And these were past clients that I had sold a house to before who lived in that neighborhood and rode by and said, "Oh, I saw that you just sold a house down the street." And they would not have known that had I not put my sign up after it had sent.
Yeah, I think the buy or sold signs are a no-brainer.
Yep.
Well, we'll talk about, guys, one of the things, and Sean, you know this, one of the things a typical agent is going after just selling the house, right, John? You
Yeah.
used to have the mentality, even, what's your goal? Just to list the house and sell it, right?
Correct.
So talk to everybody about what I kind of teach you now. What is it? What's your goal now?
I want to get 4 other leads off of that sale, at least.
Yeah, well, we say 3 closings, right? 3 more transactions, right?
Yeah.
Because you got the transaction of closing that property.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're using the system and everything else, then you're going to get that property closed. You've already said faster and for more money. It's already working for you. But if you then are intently focused on deliberate about getting 3 more transactions out of that,
Yeah.
think how that changes your business. And you guys are already seeing that. 64% of your business has already been done in the first quarter of all of what you did last year. You're seeing that. That's from intentional. Wait till you get good at it, right? Seriously, wait till you get good at it. It's scary, but wait till you get good at it because you're brand new at this.
Right. Yeah, we just went to our second seminar with you, and that enlightened us even more. Just, what's that, been a month ago?
Yeah, it was just last month. I think that's important, Sean, too, that, really shows in the people that are watching. You hear all these things, but obviously if something has to work for you, it has to be congruent with you, right? But the more you're around it, the better. I mean, you guys came back again. What are gluttons for punishment? Obviously it's because Pam is extremely attracted to me rather than you, so she wants to keep on coming out. So, but in all seriousness, you're getting immersed into it, and boy, the sky's the limit. I mean, you guys have to be giddy when you're looking at your numbers right now, right? Thinking, holy cow.
Yeah.
I guess what it is I feel good because we're focusing again, and we have our goals, and we know where we're going. And if we have to shift it, we have you to say, well, we need to shift it some. But we're more focused. We're more intent on what we're doing. And
I love that. That's a key word. Your intent. That focus that you now have, and that's why you're getting these results. Is because you're focused.
Well, we're not working. Oh, I mean, we're working, but we're not working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We are having time. Well, I'm still involved in a lot of things with the board, as is Pam. So we have trips that we're taking, and we're away and whatever. Well, even when we came up to your seminar, we got leads from our lead generation system that we got involved with, thanks to you. And that's our V4 software. So that's another great program that we got from them. And that's generating leads to us all the time as well. Listing leads, too. That's the good part. Listings are the key. They always have been. I mean, I've been in the business for 8 years. They always say, you got to list to last. So I do listings. She likes buyers. It works out great.
So you guys came up to the event last October. You also came up to the event that we did in Pittsburgh in March. So what? So just share with us real quick. What made you choose to come a second time, and then how was the experience a little bit different, and then what did you take away differently as well?
Well, you can go to something one time and there's a lot of information and you're trying to absorb it. You have to, if you're going to make it work, you have to go back and learn how to put things into place, learn what maybe you're not doing correctly that you thought you were, because that does get pointed out. And you're with a bunch of agents that have the same sense of work and work ethic as you do, and you're getting ideas from them and ideas from Bob, but you have to continue to go back or you're going to lose it. People start things, we've done it, we'll do it for a couple of months, and then we see this shiny object over there, and so we go, well, let's try this one. This is working, so there's no reason not to continue to go back.
So are you coming to our next one?
I'm not going to Seattle.
Oh, no. All right, coming to the next one here.
Which is when?
May.
In May? Might.
Pam, we'll see you here.
Okay.
Well, it depends on when in May, because I got to be at the NAR mid-year thing in May.
Okay.
So you guys, yeah, I think my favorite analogy, I think I got it from Tony Robbins, was tuning a piano. And comes in, the guy tunes it, and then it gets out of tune fast. You have to keep tuning it. But once you do it so many times, then you're good to go. So yeah, if you tune a piano once, it's gonna sound good for a little bit, and it'll revert, back to its old sound. Yeah. So what were some of your takeaways from the second event? Like what came to you that didn't come at the first event?
It's hard to put your finger on it, but I mean, it's like I guess an analogy would be like you watch a movie, then you watch it again, and one of these classic movies, you see things that you didn't see the first time. Little nuances. You go, oh, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize this. As you go over this, and plus the weekly phone calls we get, that we get to go on the mastermind calls, you can clear up little things as to why this is not working the way I thought it should, or what am I doing wrong, or I'm having problems making phone calls, or whatever it might be. Going over it again, Bob does them all live, so I mean, it's not presented exactly the way it was the first time, so he may say something that I recognize more this time than he did the last time, because he said it just a little bit different. Everybody, I mean, everybody looks at things differently, and everybody interprets things differently. So it's like anything else. Repetition. You want to be good at playing the piano, you got to practice. This you need to practice. You need to see it done by the person who invented it, because you'll go, oh, I should say it that way, not quite the way I was saying it, or I still want to put my spin on it. Well, I'm the person in front of them. Got to be my personality, but I get better at it hearing him go over it and explain how it works.
So we'll do a quick recap of some of the things you guys have done so far and seen results where buyer sold signs, signage on your listings to generate more leads. V4 software is in place, so you have automated lead generation and follow up on that side, and the listing presentation, which has helped you get paid a couple extra $1,000 per closing. And what are you guys working on now? What's next?
Well, we also do text writers on there.
What's next?
We're working on Pulpos now. Go ahead.
What's next is we're concentrating on having a routine we do every day. Bob has put that in place, and he's tried to ingrain it in us. And I, like everybody else, to sit there and you go, okay, well, yeah, I can make the phone calls, or I can work on this. And you seem to find something else that gets in the way, or that you think is going to be more fun, or I should do this first. So it's getting a daily routine, setting time that we're doing phone calls. We're working on our CRM, or our contacts. We're working on our business. And that's what we're focusing on right now.
Yeah, I think it takes time. It takes time to get used to all this. I mean, you got immersed really quickly into this stuff, and I've taken. I mean, you said earlier, Pam, very early on that you know you're just you used to be squirrel chasers, but you're just starting to implement. You're just taking action, just a few things at a time, and you're seeing results. But why go elsewhere when it's all working for you, right? And you're not even. Let's just say that everybody knows this. I mean, I think you would agree. You're not even good at this yet. Would you not say? I mean,
No.
No.
I mean, wait until you're really good at this. Just imagine where it's going to be when it does become a routine. You've only been to 2 workshops. You know, it was just end of last year. So it's only been what 5-6 months since you really started. You're not even immersed into it yet, and you're already having results. Let's fast forward a year, 2 years. At least you feel more comfortable. We already heard John say you're working less. You're making more money, and you're not good at it yet. Just wait until you're really good at it, which won't be much longer, by the way. Another 6 months, maybe a year, you'll be really good at this. It'll be second nature.
Yeah. That's what we're looking for.
Yep. Yep. So, what do you think, Sean? What do you think? You deal with a lot of agents and everything else. What do you think holds them back, or maybe Pam and John, you can answer. What do you think holds them back from pulling the trigger, or signing up to come to one of our workshops or whatever? What do you think's in the way of that? What do you think you could tell them to kind of break down that and say, hey, look, you know, this is worth giving a shot? What could you tell them? Speak to those people that are apprehensive.
Yeah, I really think that it's just human behavior that to go and learn something new that then you have to implement into your business. We all tell ourselves all these stories of why things won't work, or won't work in my market, or whatever the case may be. I mean, we all just get to make up our own stories, and I think it just creates doing new things. It just creates resistance, and people get in their own way versus being learning based and open minded and saying and really not wanting to reinvent the wheel. Like for me, I'm all about the shortcut. Lessons are taught or lessons are bought. You can go out and figure out everything on your own, or you can buy the shortcut. And I love buying shortcuts because I hate spending all that time and energy and money and resources trying to figure stuff out when someone's already figured it out and kind of paved the way. And so I'm a big shortcuts guy. But yeah, I just think new things, it's the unknown, and it just creates, which allows people just to, I don't want to use the word excuses. I like the word story better. But I think I think all of us, we have a ton of potential, and it's us versus us. So those are just some of the things that cross my mind when you ask me that question.
What do you think, Pam and John? What do you think?
Well, usually we're our own biggest enemy is us. We all resist change. We think, well, it can't be that easy.
Yeah.
And you have to work at it, and that's true. I making that commitment. You go look for this, and you go squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. You find something. Well, this guy will do this, and this program does that. It's easy to do, and it's easy not to do. And if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right, depending on whichever way you think. So you've got to make the commitment. You got to decide, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to take my business, and this is a vehicle that can get me there.
Yeah.
And I have to do the work. I mean, I'm not going to be Bob Singh. I don't want to be Bob Singh. I want to be me and do what I want to do and make as much money as I want to make and work as hard as I want to work. I've been doing this a long time, so definitely that's not as hard as you were working.
Yeah.
I'm in a different stage of my life.
Yeah, sure.
But why not get the most out of the effort that I'm doing, make the most money out of the listings that I get or the sales that we do, and have a good time doing it and help people. I mean, I like helping people solve their problems.
John, you said something. You said work and the difficulty of work and things like that. I mean, before we get to Pam, talk about that a little bit. Has this been really difficult to do? I mean, have I given you anything that's really like difficult?
No, not at all. I mean,
Is it complicated? Have you guys felt like anything's complicated?
no, it's just a matter of doing it. And like I said, when we first started in the listing domination, there wasn't. I mean, you had a series of things to do, and you had them set up, and you went and watched each one in order. But still, you needed to. Okay, well, I really like this idea, so you're going to jump ahead and do take 5 before you do implement take 2 or take 1. That goes away when you get into the coaching with you and when you go to one of your seminars, because you see the reason why it's got to go in this order.
Yeah.
It all hinges from the presentation. Now that's the key.
Yeah.
Learn the presentation, whether it's obviously it's the listing presentation, but if you have one for buyers too. So Pam has done her buyer presentation. She needs to get better at it, just like I need to get better at the listing presentation. But as you do it and you become more familiar with it, I don't know, it's human nature. When you walk into a bar the first time, someplace you've never been, it looks awe-inspiring or whatever it might be. After you've been going there for 3 years, meeting your friends there every Wednesday, it's old hat. I mean, yeah. You go, oh yeah, well that picture's been on the wall for 20 years. I ain't worried about that. When you first go, you walk into a house for the first time, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
You lived there.
It's actually a good analogy that, the bar one is kind of funny, but it's actually a good analogy that, you're getting into this for the first time. I think, and you're a little nervous at first. And so Pam, speak to that. What, it was first time, you like the focus and everything else. Talk about how difficult it was for you to change or whatever. What has this meant to you, or what have the challenges been to you?
The challenges to me,
I've been John.
It has helped both of us get more focused.
Okay.
And that everything is laid out step by step. You're not having to come up with new ideas. It's there. It works. You can't implement it all at one time. John was saying, okay, I'm going to jump to this. And when we first started it, I'm going, before we came to your class, it was, no, John, we have to do this first.
Yeah, but that looks like
so it's gotten, going into the coaching has gotten us more focused, more in control, and following what you suggest. We've had, like John said, we've had other coaches. Nobody has laid out, this is how you do it. Nobody's laid out the path. Look, here's a listing presentation, here's a buyer's presentation, here's how you make brochures, here's a template. It's there, and all you have to do is plug in stuff, and it starts working on its own.
Well, as long as you implement it, yeah. It works. You just got to work it.
Yeah, you got to work it. Yeah, you got to learn it. So it's going into that bar for the first time. It's a little overwhelming at first, but then you start learning where your favorite seat is, where the bathroom is, who the players are. You get the lingo and everything else down, and you're learning that stuff now. So.
Yeah, and I think, John, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think a lot of people, they go in and say, oh, I want to sell X amount of homes or make X amount of money, right? And then they just don't know exactly how to get there. And then sometimes even if they do kind of have a little bit of a map, it's not, they don't believe it as much, where you guys know where business is coming from, right? Leads are being generated. How to generate the referrals through the presentations. So, it sounds like you have a sense of calmness to say, yeah, we're going to triple or quadruple our business this year, but we actually know how we're going to do that, and we see it come to fruition, on a daily or weekly basis. Is that a correct assumption?
Oh, definitely, yes. Our numbers showing, I mean, we have 2 times what we have already settled we have pending on the books. And it's April. It's the middle of April, not even the middle of April.
Yeah.
So we haven't, spring market's here. So
Yeah.
the big time is coming. In my career, for whatever reason, pretty consistently through my career, I always have my best months in July. I don't know why.
Because you didn't start working until
Yeah,
January.
in October, November, December. That's true.
Because you're squirrel chasing.
Other people, it might be June, it might be, but I'm saying July, for whatever reason, was always my best month. I'm not worried about that now. What's going to be my best month? I know I'm going to have consistent months. That's the name of this game, is be consistent. Yeah, you're going to have better months than others just because you sold a more expensive home or you had 3 referrals instead of 1. But I know what's coming, and we just have this confidence and this calm, and we know we have to work, and we backslide, and we know we're supposed to do this, and something else comes along, and we'd rather do that. So, I mean, it's not like he is a slave driver, and he'll call you a slacker, and you just blow that off and go, yeah, okay, but I'm me, and I'm going to do. But I mean, it's going to work. It's just how intent do you want it to work? If I was a brand new agent and I had this system, I could conquer the world. If I had started this system 28 years ago, I wouldn't be here. We'd be on our own private island somewhere, having Cabana Boy come by with a drink or whatever. But, I mean, so you can get out of it whatever you put in it. You still have to work, but you set your goals, and this will help you achieve them.
And how does that make you guys feel?
Comfortable, confident.
Comfortable and
relaxed.
confident. I'm no longer going, okay, John, we don't have any, we have
No
nothing on the
limit, nothing in the
books.
books, right?
We have no money coming in next month. We don't feel that way anymore.
No, we don't have that problem anymore.
That's really cool, because you know what? It really comes across that way too. When you guys are talking, you're so calm. You seem like, wow, okay, this is actually working. This is great. That's wonderful.
I can't wait to get good at it.
Yeah, I know.
I have to work 1 or 2 days a week.
Yeah. You don't have to work more. That's a question. Sean has heard this before. I've had from a few clients where they call like kind of upset. They're like, I kind of feel a little lazy. I don't work as much as I used to, and I'm making way more money. And hopefully you guys can get there as well, and you will. It definitely comes across from your calmness and so forth. It's great to hear that you've done so well that 64% of last year's sales have already been done, and it's just the end of the first quarter. So everything else is great, and you could probably just sell with the calculation you did, Sean. That you guys said with 6,000 per sale, you could sell the same amount as last year. Not even increase sales numbers and still make way more money, which is pure profit.
Correct.
Yeah, but we're already ahead of last year.
Yeah.
We already have more than we did all of last year.
Cash.
There's units.
Units
and sales and how about dollars? What do dollars look like? You're definitely ahead of last year for dollars, right?
Right.
Oh,
64% ahead of dollars from last
Well,
year.
64% has settled of last year's total income, but we have in the hopper ready, waiting to settle.
Another 60%.
Once again.
Twice. That's great.
So,
That's wonderful.
Beautiful.
Well, you did it. You guys did it. I mean, if anybody learns anything from this hangout today, is it was really John and Pam that did this. They took the action. They haven't been perfect at doing it, nor do we expect anybody to be perfect. They've been very resilient, keep on coming back. Been to 2 workshops, thank goodness. Putting up with me twice, that's pretty resilient. And here they are making more money. Having and that's what we all want. That's what we're all looking for. So, Sean, what do you say to kind of wrap this up and everything else, to put a bow on it and before we go here?
Well, I think Yeah, I mean, obviously, Bob, you're providing, the systems and the marketing and the coaching or guiding, but at the end of the day, providing someone with tools and a toolbox, if they don't know how to use them or don't go and use them, then they're worthless. So, Pam and John, high fives, kudos, it works if you work it. So nothing happens without the work and the implementation. So you could have the best listing presentation in the world, but if no one's ever seen it, what good is it?
Yeah.
And that's why I like, the fact that you have people go out and give it to do the presentation in front of friends or family. One, to practice and get better at it, but two, really planting a seed that is going to bear fruit in the future, versus the real estate game, which is all just hunt and eat and hunt and eat, and then when you close your transaction, like, you got to go out and hunt again, versus planting the seeds and attracting business. But again, it all requires work. It requires action. You guys have done it. You're seeing the results, which is fantastic. I'm very, very happy for you guys. The extra commissions that increases profitability huge. So kudos to you guys, and keep it up. Just keep it up. I know Bob will stay on you, but just keep it up and keep doing those things one at a time. And I know the buyer sold signs, now that you're getting the extra listings, are going to bear good fruit for you guys. And in 6 months, I'm sure you're going to look back and think, man, why didn't I do that sooner? I wish I'd had buyer sold signs for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yes.
Yep. So, guys, I'll pass this off to you then. Thank you, Sean. In closing, what do you say? What do you suggest people do? What do you suggest for them to get the kind of results that you just had? What would be, just in a sentence or two, each one of you, what would you suggest?
Don't be afraid. Take the step, implement, and believe it or not, we're having fun. Not work anymore. We're having fun, but you have to take that step and don't question. Just do.
Good. Very good.
Don't look for reasons it won't work. The system is there. You show us how to use the system. But like you said, the tools, you give us the tools in the toolbox, but you also give us the path to take. And you show us how to use the tools. But we still have to do the work. I mean, how can it hurt to get paid more for the same amount of work you're doing now and get more work as a result of that? It's kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah, because you're not forcing these people. You're not bending them down, right? And
Yeah.
they want to, because you're delivering more value.
Here's what I will provide you as a service to sell your home, and here's what I charge. And they go, that is of such a great value, I'll pay you what you charge.
Price is only an objection in the absence of value.
Yep.
Exactly.
Perfect.
As long as they know the value, they see the value, they don't mind paying for it. They'll go to if they were ill, they want to go to the most expensive, best doctor there is, regardless of what the illness is.
Yeah.
They don't want to go to Walmart and go see if their doctor in the corner can cure them of this life-threatening disease. It's only $49.95. You have to look at it that way too.
Great. Well, thank you, guys. Thank you so much for agreeing to hang out with us today and share your story. Look forward to doing a follow-up. Wouldn't it be cool, Sean, in like another year doing a follow-up with these guys and see where they are then? They might be on the beach then.
I was going to say.
Talking to us.
We'll do it from the beach.
Yeah, there you go. They'll do it from the beach. So thank you, John and Pam. Really appreciate you guys. So blessed to have met you and become friends with you. Yes, John, you are still a slacker, so that will never change.
I agree.
Thank you, Sean, for taking the time out of your busy day. And I love what you said, take the shortcut. And that's what we're really offering here is a shortcut. John and Pam did that. They took the shortcut, and it's paying off for them. So thank you, everybody. If you have any questions, just contact us at any time at support@bobsankcoaching.com. Just please do not spell my name backwards. It's BOBCENK coaching.com. So, Sean, you want to end it here then, sir?
Yep, and just thanks, John and Pam, for your time. Like I said, keep up all the good work, and we'll talk to everybody soon.
All right. Take care, everybody. Thank you.